Hi, this is Tim, and thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. This is Tim's Blog Spots. Let's get right to it. I have a new segment that I'm going to try to do every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I can. And what I'm going to do is it's called Reading Stories with Tim, and it's kids' books. I'm going to pick out one kid's book or a chapter book or a series and read it for you guys. And since you guys can't go to the libraries or go to schools or anything like that, and you guys can have story time, you can go to my YouTube channel, it's Tim's Blog Spots, and go right ahead and watch my videos about me reading a book. And hit the like button and subscribe button and bell for all notifications, and comment on what books you want me to read next and why do you like the book that I read previously. And let's get to it. So today I'm going to try to read some of this book called The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary. Ralph will take the ride of his life. Ooh, it's going to be scary. Is it going to be adventure, or are we going to lose our marbles? Whatever's going to happen, we're going to find out in her book. Beverly Cleary's book. Oops. We're going to find out in her book. The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Dun dun dun. Let's swipe. Okay, it has 13 chapters, so we're going to read a little bit by little bit. And chapter 1 is called The New Guest. So, The New Guest. See if we can do this. Oh, we can. Oh, The New Guest. It's The New Guest. Okay, let's jump right into the book. The New Guest. Kenneth, the boy in the rumple shorts and shirt, did not know he was being watched as he entered. Room 215 of the Mountain View Inn. Near did his mom, no, near did his mother and father who both looked hot and tired. They had come from Ohio and for 5 days had driven across plains and deserts and over mountains to the old hotel in California foothill, 25 miles from Highway 40. Here's a little, sorry if I can get focused. Here's that little mouse that's peeking out the little hole looking at them when they enter the hotel. The fourth person entered room 215 may have known he was being watched, but he did not care. He was Matt, 60 if he was a 60 if he was a day, who all at the moment was the bellboy. Matt also replied, whom out worn out light bulbs, renewed washers, and leaky faucets carried trays for people who telephoned room service to order food sent to their rooms, and sometimes private children from hitting sometimes preventing children from hitting one another with crochet with mallet crochet mallets on the lawn behind the hotel. Now Matt's right shoulder sagged with the weight of one of the bags he was carrying. Here you are, Mrs. Gritty. Room 215 and 216, he said, sitting the smaller of the bags on a luggage rack at the foot of the double bed before he opened a door into the next room. I expect you and Mrs. Gilly will want room 216. It is a corner room with twin beds and a private bath. He carried the heavy bags into the next room, where he could be heard opening windows. Outside, a chipmunk chattered in a pine tree, and chimney whistles Phoebe. The boy's mother looked critically around room 215 and whispered, I think we should drive back to the main highway. There must be a motel with a vacancy sign someplace. We didn't look long enough. Not another mile, answered the father. I'm driving an- I am driving another mile. I'm not driving another mile on a California highway on a holiday weekend. Did you see the way that trucks almost forced us off the road? Dad, did you see these two fellows on motorcycles beginning begged the boy and stepped, realizing he should not interrupt an argument? But this place is so old, protests the boy's mother, and we have only 3 weeks for our whole trip. We have planned to spend the 4th of July weekend in San Francisco, and we want to show Kenneth as much of the United States as we could. San Francisco will have to wait, and this is part of the United States. Besides, this used to be a very fashionable hotel, says Mrs. Grizzly. People come from miles around. 50 years ago, Miss Grizzly, and they come by horse and buggy. The bellboy returned to room 215. The dining room opens at 6:30, sir. There is ping pong in the game room. The TV is in the lobby and croquet on the back lawn. I am sure you will be very comfortable, Matt, who had been guest Matt, who has seen guests come and go for many years. How there were two kinds: those who thought the hotel was a dreadful old barn of a place, and those who thought it charming and quaint, so quiet and restful. Of course, we will be comfortable, said Mr. Grizzly, dropping some coins into Matt's hand for carrying the bags. But this big old hotel is possibly spooky, Miss Grizzly made one last protest. It is probably full of mice. Matt opened the window wide. Mice. Oh no, madam. The management wouldn't stand for mice. I wouldn't mind a few mice, said the boy. I wouldn't mind a few mice, the boy said, as he looked around the room at the high ceilings, the nodding pine walls, the carpet so threading that many of its roses had almost internally faded. The one chair with the whoa, that's harder to understand. Antimus Chris, oh, I can't even say that word. The chair on its back, the wash basket and towels rack in the corner of the room. I like it here, he announced. A whole room to myself. Usually I just get caught in the corner of a motel room. His mother smiled repentantly, then she turned to Matt. I am sorry, it's just that it was so hot crossing Nevada and we are not used to mountain driving. Back on the highway, the traffic was bumper to bumper. I'm sure we shall be very comfortable. After Matt had gone, closing the door behind him, Miss Grizzly said, I need a rest before dinner. 400 miles of driving in that mountain traffic, it was too much. And if we're going to stay for a weekend, I have better unpacked, said Mrs. Grizzly. At least I have a chance to do some drip drying. Alone in room 215 and aware that he was being watched, the boy began to explore. He got down on his hands and knees and looked under the bed. He leaned out the open window as far as he could and greedily inhaled deep breaths of pine scent air. He turned the hot and cold water on and off in the wash bin and slapped one of the small bars of paper wrapped soap in his pocket. Under the window, he discovered a knot hole in the pine wall down by the floor and squatted, poking his fingers into the hole. When he felt nothing inside, he lost interest. Next, Kenneth opened his suitcase and took out an apple and several small cars, a sedan, a sports car, and an automobile about 6 inches long, and a red motorcycle half the length of the cars, which he dropped on the striped bedspread before he bit into the apple. He ate the apple noisily, in his big chompy bites, and then laid the core on the bedside table between the lamp and the telephone. Sorry, my phone's not focusing right now. Oh my god, come on, phone. Focus for a second. Oh, there he goes. You can see on the side, it's that kid playing with his cars, motorcycles, and he's finishing his apple. Sorry, I have to lean my phone on the side so you guys can look at the picture. Kenneth began to play, running his car up and down the bedspread, pretending that the stripes on the spread were highway and making noises with his mouth. Vroom, vroom, vroom for the sports car, wee for the ambulance, and beep, 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 beep for the motorcycle, going up and down the strip. Once Kenneth stopped suddenly and looked quickly around the room, as he expected to see something or someone, but when he saw nothing unusual, he returned to his cars. Vroom, vroom, bang! Crashed the sports car in his sedan and rolled over off the highway strip. P.U.B. The motorcycle came rolling into the scene of the crash. Kenneth, his mother called from the next room. Time to get washed up for dinner. Okay, Kenneth parked his car into a straight line on the bedside table beside the telephone where he looked like a row of real cards, only much, much smaller. The first thing Miss Grizzly noticed when she and Mrs. Grizzly came into the room was the apple core on the table. She dropped it with a thunk into the metal wastebasket beside the table as she gave several quick little sniffs of the air and said, "Looks relax. I don't care what the bellboy said. I'm sure this hotel has mice." "I hope so, Mother Kenneth." End of chapter 1. We're going to put a bookmark in here, and we're going to get on to book 2 starting tomorrow. And thank you for joining me on this journey of listening to my take on the mouse and the motorcycle. And I'm sorry if I stutter sometimes in the book, because some of these words are hard to understand. And I'm going to try my best to have you understand me, and try to get the book as thoroughly as read as correctly as possible as I can. And if you want to, bring snacks next time to this video. Sit down, get comfortable, and let's continue on to chapter 2. For tomorrow's chapter 2 of the mouse and the motorcycle, chapter 2 will be called the motorcycle. That's for chapter 2 tomorrow. If you're liking this story, if you like this story, don't tell no one what's been going on. Don't tell no one what's been going on in the book. And I want you to keep your eye out on for the second chapter of this book. Thank you for taking your time. Reading stories with Tim on Tim's Blog Spots. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.